Good day, Doctor, and everyone. My name is Miss Jennifer, and today, on behalf of Group Talk, we will be sharing our study on economical and financial management aspect of small-scale fishing in household Terengganu. This study focuses on small-scale fisheries household in Terengganu, one of the important coastal states in Malaysia, where many rural communities depend on fishing as their main source of income. Small-scale fisheries plays vital role in supporting livelihoods, food security, and rural economic development. Yet, this household faces income instability and financial vulnerability due to the seasonal changes and a rising operating costs. The study area covers selected coastal fishing communities in Terengganu that are actively involved in small-scale fishing activities. To achieve the objective of this study, data collected using a questionnaire, survey, and analyzed using descriptive economical profiling. The analysis focused on socio-economic characteristics, income sources, expenditure pattern, and financial management practices. Through this approach, the study aims to provide a clear understanding of the economic condition and reliance of small-scale fishing household in Terengganu.
This slide presents the respondent profile of our study involving 30 small-scale fisheries households in Terengganu. Most respondents are in the productive age group. The largest share is aged 31 to 40 years at 34%, followed by 41 to 50 years at 23%, while only 3% are aged 18 to 30. This shows that respondents are active involved in fishing activities. In terms of education, 47% completes primary school, 43% secondary school, and 10% had no formal education, indicating moderate human capital level. The table shows that female dependents are more concentrated in working age groups and have higher participation in education and employment. Overall, the respondent profile reflects typical characteristics of small-scale fisheries households, which are important for understanding their economic behavior.
Next, let's look at the profit of fishermen during the non-monsoon season. Overall, the fishermen recorded a total cash revenue of 718,644 per year with an average of 9,754.80 per fisherman. However, the difference between the mean, median, and standard deviation indicates that income among fishermen is unequal, where only a few fishermen earn significantly more than majority. Operating costs are also high, totaling 700,482.36 per year with an average of 23,349.41 per fisherman. These costs include fuel, boat maintenance, and fishing equipment, which reduce the net profit of the fishermen. As a result, the aggregate net profit is only 18,161.64 per year, reflecting a low profit margin even during the more productive non-monsoon season. Income variation is also influenced by the scale of operations, type of equipment, and fishing locations.
For wages and salary, the findings show that most fishermen households rely on only one working family members on average. This means that household income sources are quite limited. In terms of income, the wage levels are relatively low both on a monthly and annual basis. This suggests that fishermen households have limited opportunities to earn additional income outside the fishing sector. Overall, these households remain highly dependent on fishing activity as their main sources of income. As a result, when fishing income becomes unstable, the economic condition of fishermen families is also directly affected.
Based on this slide, food expenditure is the higher component of household spending, showing that food remains a basic necessity. Next, utility expenses such as water and electricity are relatively stable and essential for most households. Next, gas, petrol, and transportation expenditures show greater variation as they depend on household uses and mobility needs. While many respondents report lower spending, some incur higher costs, especially for transportation. Overall, the difference between the mean and the median values indicate the presence of extreme values. Therefore, the median better represents the typical household expenditure among the majority of respondents.
Hello, this session will discuss the perception of small-scale fishermen based on the response we got from our 30 respondents. First, although many fishermen do not clearly understand the concept of the overnight policy rate or OPR, more than half of the respondents, about 57%, are aware that it affects household expenses and commodity prices. This shows that fishermen may not understand how OPR works, but they can feel its effect through higher living costs, fuel prices, and fishing expenses. Their understanding is mainly based on daily experience rather than economic knowledge. Next, the findings show very strong support for the fuel price subsidy policy in Malaysia. Almost all respondents, 93.3%, agree with the policy because fuel is a major cost in fishing activities. Fuel subsidies help reduce operating costs and support fishermen's income. In terms of taxation, most fishermen view personal income tax as a financial burden, and about 76.7% of respondents feel that paying income tax put pressure on their household finances. This is mainly due to the unstable and seasonal nature of income in the fishery sector. Finally, most fishermen believe that government cash incentive help increase their household income. About 76.7% agree that this incentive provide important financial support, especially during periods of low cash. Overall, the findings show that fishermen are more aware of economic policies that directly affect their daily costs and income, highlighting the importance of practical and targeted support for small-scale fishermen.
On this slide, I summarize the key issues and challenges faced by small-scale fishers. First, under economic vulnerability, the main issue is that many small-scale fishers depend heavily on a single income source, traditional fishing. The challenge is that productivity remains low because of structural constraints such as small boats, traditional gear, limited access to productive fishing grounds, and competition from larger-scale fishers. Second, at the household level, income is often concentrated on one main earner, which shows low diversification. At the same time, basic expenses like food and utilities are rigid and cannot be easily reduced when income falls. This becomes even more challenging for larger households or those with higher dependency burdens because the cost of living increases. Finally, for policy interaction, there is a clear gap between policy understanding and life experience. Fishers may not understand the technical terms like the OPR, but they strongly feel the impact through rising input costs and higher living expenses. This highlights the need for more inclusive and practical economic communication and support that match the realities of small-scale fishers. Thank you.
So the next is policy recommendations. So first, income diversification program. Most small-scale fishermen's households depends on a single income from fishing, making them vulnerable to weather changes, monsoon seasons, and unstable fish catches. Income is consistent and often low despite high effort. Therefore, income diversification toward side activities such as seafood processing, entrepreneurship, and ecotourism supported by training and financial assistance is needed to improve households' economic resilience. So the second is strengthening targeted subsidies and reducing operating costs. The study finds that fishermen face high operating costs, especially for fuel and equipment, resulting in very low profit margins. Most fishermen rely heavily on fuel subsidies. Therefore, subsidies should be more targeted and supported with maintenance assistance, fuel efficiency gear, and affordable insurance to reduce cost and improve economic stability for small-scale fishermen. So, the third is financial literacy and financial protection grant. Fishermen generally have low financial literacy and struggle to manage irregular income when basic household expenses remain fixed. Limited saving and reliance on debt increased vulnerability to income shocks. Hence, practical financial literacy programs and financial protection measures such as savings schemes, insurance, and flexible taxations are essential to enhance long-term financial stability.
During this field study, we gain direct exposure to the reality of life and the economic challenges faced by small-scale fishermen in Kuala Terengganu. The study involved interview season with fishermen at two main locations, which is Seberang Taki and Menggabang Teleport. From our observation, we found that although the fishermen work consistently, their income remains unstable due to manufacture and weather conditions. Through face-to-face interview, we were able to relate fisheries economic concepts such as income instability, operating costs, and the role of government subsidies to real-life situations in the field. This experience also helped us improve our communication and teamwork skills while interacting with the fishing community. Therefore, this fieldwork enhanced our understanding of the importance of targeting government policy in supporting the sustainability of small-scale fishermen's households. Thank you.
In conclusion, this study shows that small-scale fisheries households in Terengganu remain highly dependent on traditional fishing as their main source of income, but face significant income instability and high operating costs that limit profitability and increase financial vulnerability. Most households rely on a single income earner with spending focused on basic necessities, leaving little capacity to save, invest, or cope with economic shocks. Although adaptive strategies such as increased participation of female household members in education and employment are evident, these mainly source long-term resilience rather than immediate income stability. The findings also reveal a gap between fishermen's understanding of macroeconomic policies and their lived experience, as rising costs are strongly felt despite limited knowledge of the overnight policy rate, reinforcing the importance of fuel subsidies and targeted support. Overall, strengthening income diversification, financial literacy, and inclusive cost-sensitive policies is essential to improve household resilience and ensure the sustainability of small-scale fisheries livelihoods.